back to the Space of Language, your guide to studying foreign languages. I'm Goar, and today I will guide you through some steps and I will give you some ideas about how to learn vocabulary in a fun and in an efficient way. So, the first point I have is that you have to remember that repetition is key. Honestly, there is nothing more important than repeating the vocabulary that you have already studied. So whether you keep notes, on the one column you do, on the one you have two columns. On the one side you do English, for example, if you study English. On the other in the other column you put your native language translation. But after that you go through. Maybe you go backwards, so you don't remember in the same order, right? So what you want to do is after you study some say 10, 20 words, you come back every time and you learn and you look through that if you remember it or you struggle and you cannot remember some of the words. Another useful tip is having flashcards. This is also about repetition. You could either write it down yourself or you use apps like Memrise and many other apps that are really helpful in this way. Also, you could, if you are a visual learner like myself, if you like seeing the word or writing it down, you can actually remember the spelling of the word, which is also important. If you're an auditory learner, that's another question. But I think if you keep notes yourself, even if it's on your phone, in the notes in the phone, that's also really useful. You will remember, you will come back to it. You have something to practice, keep practicing over and over again until you make sure it is 100% in your long-term memory, in your active vocabulary, the one you can use to actually produce, to speak, to make a conversation, and not only recognize it as in the passive vocabulary. Another good idea is also repetition, like you take a walk outside and when you see things around yourself, like people, shops, cafes, benches, trees, birds, you say all these words or you like in your head, you just checking if you remember these words, so you just say the word in your target foreign language you're studying. And if you cannot remember some of the words, what you do is you actually go ahead and maybe in your note, in the notes in your phone, because you always have your phone with you. So you put that down and easily you can remember it. Next time, make sure that you will remember more and more. And this is a fun way because you don't actively sit down and remember, you just check yourself. Tip number 2 that I have for you is that you should put the words into context. Now, this is as important as the first tip because some words could have multiple meanings depending on the situation, on the story. It could be an informal meaning, which I will talk about a bit later. So you make a sentence, you put it into context, and you remember it as a phrase. For example, you learn the word table and you say something like, the table is in the room, or the table is big. And it could work with also more complicated vocabulary. It doesn't have to be only beginner level, but if it's a simple sentence, it is really easy for you to understand which part of speech it is. Is it a noun? Is it a verb? An adjective? How you use it? And also you remember it as a phrase better than out of context and you don't know what to do with that word, right? Tip number 3 is a great news for you guys because your native language could help you. It can help you in a way that also depending on how similar your native language is to your target language, you could have a lot of similar words with the same meaning, pretty much the same spelling. Maybe it could be not the same, but a little bit similar meaning. So for example, in English, we have the suffix tion, which we also have in many other languages. For example, words like action, nation, what else? Revolution, telephone, organization, ambition, position. All these shen words also would mean the same, and they do mean the same in French, in Italian, even in Russian, I think in German too. So when you find that similar pattern, like if it's a suffix, if it's some prefix, like part of the word that is really similar and has similar meaning, that could also kind of double your vocabulary simultaneously. You just take it from your native language. I mentioned telephone, so there are other words that have similar meaning, like telephone, ballet, cafe, waltz, I don't know, avocado, like a lot of words do have the same meaning, even in very different languages. And you could easily enrich your vocabulary that way without even studying. You just remember that it is the same thing as in your native language or a language that you know. Maybe you know more than one or you study more than one foreign language. Next tip is that we should remember about our false friends. False friends are not exactly our best friends in a way that they could look like the same word, they could have the same, spelling, but it does not mean they have the same meaning. Let's take a word like carpeta in Spanish, which is a folder where you keep your documents, your some papers, files. And if you have a word carpet in English, that would actually mean a rug, on the floor, like the carpet on the floor. So be careful with that. Or another word is really a good example, I think. In Spanish, libreria is a bookshop where you buy books and pens, pencils, things like that. But in English, library, which sounds a bit the same or exactly the same, library, libreria, So in English, that's where you can take a book and then return it later. So be careful with that. You don't buy books in a library in English language. That is our false friends. Next point is draw pictures, use sticky notes, and use or make yourself some posters with the words. This is a creative way of remembering things because it is more of subconscious learning. It's not your active learning, like putting effort to it. Let me give you an example. So my roommate back in Spain, I had 3 other roommates from different countries. Everyone spoke different foreign languages. So what we did, like my roommate did actually, she put some posters with the picture and the meaning of that word in Spanish. Like it would be a knife, a fork, a frying pan, I think, like everything you find in the kitchen that could be useful. So every time you came to the kitchen, you would, cook something, cutting like something, look at the words around you because it's right there, it's in front of you. And whether you want it or not, it's going to stick into your memory as you just look at it, you're surrounded by that, pictures, images, words, and you don't even write the translation of the word. That's really good because you focus on the image and the meaning of the word. Another thing, using sticky notes, so you can of course go around your house, attach it to things you're learning, like the furniture in your bedroom or things in your office, or it could be something that you make an association with. So use these creative ways, maybe draw something instead of writing the meaning of the word, maybe a little picture that could help you too. Have fun with it, be creative, and enjoy it in a way that is making you creative too. Another tip, except for drawing, you can go to Google and find images of words that might sound the same as the word you are learning. Let me give an example with the word sting. If you go to Google and you Google the word sting, it's not going to give you really, it's going to give you, of course, different pictures, and you will see the picture of a very famous British singer, Sting, like, the song Englishman in New York, really wonderful song, I love it, do you? And what you do is you remember that, of course, you study the word sting, for example, from biology, right? It is a part, like the organ that bees and ants have, or it could be a verb that they can sting you, or you get stung by a bee, right? And you understand that you can make an association in your head that a sting, which is a part of organ, could be like, okay, I remember the image of the singer. Or if you like Spanish singer Enrique Iglesias and you check the word iglesia, which means church, a church in Spanish, and you associate in your head with like, okay, Iglesias, that is church, or Mario Casas, the actor, very famous, Casa actually in Spanish, right? The house. And if you check his Instagram, his name is, I believe, Mario Houses. The last time I saw. It's really fun. So what you do is you make that association in your head and you remember it in that way. Like, it's not the meaning, but it's something that I know, somebody, object, person, celebrity, anything could be. So that is another fun way. What else? I think you should also know the basic, okay? Let's call it the basic vocabulary, because there's a statistic maybe you heard of that pretty much 3,000 words in English language. We take English, for example, as a language that most people study right now. A lot of people. So 3,000 words, they would make up about 95%, that's a huge number, right? 95% of daily conversation. That means if you have that vocabulary, if you can use it, if you're confident to use it, then you could have pretty much conversation about anything. Could be shopping, could be traveling, could be hobbies even. Well, it could be very basic because it's something like your base and you like a fundament you have, and you are enriching vocabulary, you're growing that up, but you should have that to be just confident that you have that basis for yourself. Another thing is making expressions, using and learning different meaning of expressions, different meanings. So, for example, the word like nuts, it is a food, it is candy. Also, there's an expression like, are you nuts? Meaning, are you crazy? Yeah, something's wrong. And this is really informal language. This is what you get from movies or from talking to native speakers. Another one, let's say the word like ear. Yeah, of course, ear as an organ. And also, I'm all ears, which means I'm listening to you carefully. I hope you are right now listening like all ears. Yeah, I'm all ears. Another one I like day. Okay, everyone knows about day, but there's an expression with it like, let's call it a day, meaning, okay, we're tired now, let's finish work early, let's go home, let's call it a day, right? So what you do, you check informal meanings, you check some idioms or expressions like that. Now it might be too much if you think of it as a beginner, but I would say it's good to know more about one word than just, separately learning it, putting it to your notes. But do more research, learn more about it. It will be really useful because I'm sure you use that in your native language. You use a lot of idioms, whether or not you realize it, unless like somebody asks you, a foreigner, how to translate that, and you have to explain and you say, okay, I'm not sure because this is something I'm used to. And this is what the English speakers do a lot. They use, not only English speakers, pretty much in any language. One more tip is that we should remember the word families. Now, this is really important because it can help you grow your vocabulary faster. For example, if you mean word families, we take the word happy and then we make words like unhappy or happiness. Or we take the word play and we make words like playful or display. So you get different parts of speech, you get also different meanings, could be nouns, adjectives, opposite meanings. And as well as I wanted to talk about the one word being two parts of speech. For example, the word water, as in I drink a cup of water or I water my plants. So it's a noun and a verb at the same time. That way you get two words from one word and it's really easy, just need to remember how to use it in a sentence. Now the last tip is really important too. Read and listen. You should have the possibility of reading the word while you're listening. So great ideas, YouTube videos of your famous bloggers you like, celebrities you like, interviews. And another thing is YouTube, except for YouTube, it is Netflix or Amazon Prime, any other shows you watch. So you put on the subtitles and you can hear and you can read the word. It's good for visual learners. You can see how it's written on screen. For auditory learners as well, you can hear how it's pronounced and you remember it faster that way. So just try to maybe watch a movie that you have already watched in your native language, and that would take the pressure away. You would just relax, maybe take 15 to 20 minutes of piece of movie, maybe a video clip, so that you don't get tired like a movie, an hour and a half, 2 hours is too long, I would say. So focus on that. And remember just to enjoy the language, make this process fun. Be creative. Tell me in the comments down below which of the tips from today have helped you, which were maybe new for you, or which ones you have been using that you would like to share with us. I'll be happy to hear from you. So in the further videos, I will talk to you about studying grammar, about some tips that can help you use materials and make it interactive, like songs and books and movies. And until then, I hope you take good care and I see you in the next video. So subscribe and follow me. Thank you so much. You can follow me on social media too. And tell me what you think about today's tips. Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.